The idea of demons has haunted humanity's collective consciousness for millennia. These beings are not merely the stuff of bedtime horror stories or Hollywood films. They inhabit our oldest myths, our most sacred religious texts, and even modern psychological theories. From ancient Mesopotamian temples to the echoing chambers of medieval cathedrals, from whispered superstitions in shadowy alleys to the cold, sterile labs of neuroscience, demons have persisted. But are they real, or are they an elaborate construct, a scapegoat for our fears, a metaphor for human suffering? This analysis will not shy away from the complexity of the question. Instead, we will examine it through the lens of history, religion, psychology, and science, treating it not as a mere curiosity, but as a profound mystery. In the chapters ahead, we will explore the origins of demons, their cultural transformations, famous historical accounts of possession, and the modern theories that attempt to explain their presence or absence. This is no shallow dive, it's a forensic dissection, a case study of the supernatural. The first whispers of demonic beings emerge from the fertile plains of Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. The ancient Sumerians, Akkadians, and Babylonians didn't have the luxury of separating the spiritual from the material world. To them, the unseen forces that governed the universe were as real as the rivers that watered their crops. Among these forces were the Utuku, malevolent spirits that personified misfortune. One of the most feared was Lamashto, a demoness described with a lion's head, a bird's talons, and a penchant for causing miscarriages and infant deaths. She was not an abstract idea, she was a tangible threat. Pregnant women wore amulets inscribed with incantations to ward her off, and priests performed elaborate rituals to appease her. Lamashto was not alone. The Sumerians also told of Pazuzu, a demon of pestilence and drought, often depicted with a grotesque, insect-like face. Yet, ironically, Pazuzu could also be invoked to repel other demons, illustrating a complex moral ambiguity. Demons in Mesopotamian lore were not purely evil, they were forces of chaos, sometimes wielded for protection. By the time of the early Israelites, the concept of demons had evolved. The Hebrew Bible mentions spirits called Sheddim, often associated with foreign gods and idolatry. These beings were less about chaos and more about opposition to the monotheistic God of Israel. The real theological revolution came with Christianity, which framed demons as fallen angels, celestial beings cast out of heaven alongside Lucifer after a great rebellion. This narrative is vividly portrayed in texts like the Book of Revelation and Paradise Lost. These weren't just spirits, they were traitors, exiles, and tempters. Their mission was clear: to lead humanity astray. The New Testament frequently mentions demonic possession. Jesus' ministry is filled with exorcisms, perhaps most famously in the story of the Gerasene demoniac, where a legion of demons is cast into a herd of pigs. These accounts reinforce the idea of demons as parasitic invaders, capable of seizing control of a person's body and soul. The concept of demons is far from unique to the Abrahamic faiths. In Hinduism, the Asuras represent a powerful class of beings often at odds with the gods. Unlike the Christian concept of demons, Asuras are not wholly evil. They are ambitious, cunning, and occasionally even virtuous, a reflection of the Hindu belief in the duality of existence. In Japan, Oni are demonic creatures that range from malevolent tormentors to reluctant protectors. Their forms are varied, from grotesque ogres to seductive spirits. Similarly, African folklore abounds with tales of demons, such as the Tokolosh, a mischievous spirit that can bring misfortune or even death. This diversity underscores a key point: demons are not monolithic. They are shaped by the cultural, moral, and religious landscapes of the societies that imagine them. History is littered with accounts of demonic possession, each more dramatic than the last. The Loudun possessions in 17th century France, for instance, involved an entire convent of nuns who claimed to be tormented by demons. The case became a public spectacle, with exorcisms performed in front of crowds. Was it mass hysteria, political intrigue, or genuine possession? Then there's the infamous case of Anneliese Michel, a young German woman in the 1970s who underwent dozens of exorcisms before her tragic death. Her symptoms, violent outbursts, aversion to religious symbols, and voices, led her family and priests to believe she was possessed. Modern psychologists argue she suffered from epilepsy and psychosis, but her story remains a haunting testament to the bloodline between faith and mental health. The recordings from her exorcisms are chilling, with guttural voices and screams that defy the ordinary. Whether one sees this as evidence of a demonic force or the tragic consequences of untreated mental illness, the case remains a sobering example of humanity's desperate attempts to grapple with the unknown. Another striking example comes from the Salem witch trials, where accusations of witchcraft often involved claims of demonic possession or influence. Entire communities were thrown into chaos as fear of the devil's work spread like wildfire. Historical records suggest that ergot poisoning from moldy rye might have caused hallucinations and paranoia. But to the people of Salem, the devil was at their doorstep, corrupting their neighbors and turning the devout into sinners. Modern psychology offers explanations for phenomena once attributed to demons. Disorders such as schizophrenia, dissociative identity disorder, and epilepsy are often cited as conditions historically mistaken for possession. Take schizophrenia, for example. Its symptoms, auditory hallucinations, delusions, and paranoia can closely mimic descriptions of demonic influence. In a society without medical understanding, someone hearing voices or claiming to see malevolent beings would almost certainly be labeled as possessed. Similarly, dissociative identity disorder, where individuals exhibit multiple distinct personalities, could easily be interpreted as a person being taken over by an external force. One personality might even identify itself as a demon, further fueling the perception of possession. And let's not forget sleep paralysis, a phenomenon that has terrified countless individuals. During sleep paralysis, the body is immobilized while the mind is partially awake, often resulting in vivid hallucinations of shadowy figures or a crushing weight on the chest. Historically, this was attributed to demons sitting on the sleeper's chest, a belief reflected in folklore worldwide, from the incubi and succubi of medieval Europe to the kanashibari of Japan. Even Freud couldn't resist the allure of demons. He famously suggested that demons represented repressed emotions and desires, essentially, the human subconscious manifesting itself in terrifying forms. Modern psychologists expand on this idea, suggesting that the concept of demons might be a way for the human brain to externalize and confront inner turmoil. One of the most compelling is the idea of parallel universes. Theoretical physicists, inspired by quantum mechanics, propose the existence of alternate dimensions that coexist with our own. Could demons be entities from another plane of existence, slipping through the cracks of reality? This idea is speculative at best, but it tantalizingly bridges the gap between science and the supernatural. Paranormal investigators often talk about electromagnetic fields and temperature drops as signs of supernatural activity, while skeptics attribute these phenomena to natural causes, faulty wiring, drafts, or even human suggestion. Believers argue that such occurrences might signal the presence of antivism. There's also the theory of energy imprinting, which suggests that intense emotional or traumatic events can leave behind an energetic record that lingers in a location. Could some so-called demonic encounters actually be echoes of past tragedies, playing out like a supernatural recording? Demons have been a staple of storytelling for centuries, but modern media has given them a new life. Films like The Exorcist and Hereditary shape how we perceive demons, often exaggerating their powers and behaviors for dramatic effect. But here's the catch: pop culture depictions of demons often differ significantly from historical accounts. Hollywood demons are fleshy, with glowing eyes, guttural growls, and dramatic possessions. Historical demons, however, are often subtle manipulators, working through whispers and insinuations rather than grand displays of power. This divergence speaks to a broader truth: our fears evolve with time. In an age of scientific advancement, where the unknown has shrunk but not disappeared, demons adapt to fill the gaps in our understanding. As we concluded in Chapter 6, the scientific lens often dismisses demons as myths, yet certain phenomena persist that defy rational explanation. If demons are purely psychological or cultural constructs, how do we account for the uncanny similarities in the descriptions across disparate cultures and time periods? From the Sumerian Lamashtu to the Hindu Asuras and the Christian legions of Lucifer, civilizations with no context share chillingly consistent accounts of malevolent entities. Could it be that these aren't merely stories but reflections of a universal truth, a force that has haunted humanity since its inception? This global and historical consistency is hard to ignore and serves as a foundation for arguing their existence. Possession cases provide the most compelling evidence. Time and again, individuals exhibit behaviors and abilities that seem impossible to fake or explain. From speaking ancient, unknown languages to demonstrating superhuman strength, these manifestations have been documented by priests, doctors, even skeptics. In one widely reported case, a teenager in the U.S. began speaking fluent Latin during an exorcism, a language he had no way of learning. Others have recounted possessions where individuals predicted future events or revealed intimate details about strangers. Physical phenomena like levitating objects or inexplicable wounds further complicate efforts to dismiss these as mere psychological anomalies. The Catholic Church, perhaps the most authoritative voice on this subject, treats demonic possession as a very real and present danger. With formal training programs for exorcists and stringent protocols requiring thorough medical and psychological evaluations before intervention, the Vatican's endorsement of demons' existence carries weight. This is not the domain of superstition, but a methodical acknowledgement of forces beyond human understanding. Why would an institution so rooted in tradition and caution dedicate resources to combating something imaginary? Their stance alone lends credibility to the argument. Lastly, modern paranormal investigations add a scientific veneer to what was once considered folklore. Cases like the Enfield poltergeist, where witnesses reported levitating furniture and guttural voices, defy conventional explanations. Theories about dark energy, parallel dimensions, and quantum mechanics suggest that our understanding of reality is incomplete. Could demons be entities from these unseen realms, interacting with ours in ways we are only beginning to understand? The cumulative weight of history, personal testimony, and unexplained phenomena makes a strong case that demons are not just figments of imagination but terrifyingly real. As we wrap up, the evidence for the existence of demons, historical accounts, terrifying possession cases, the Catholic Church's formal acknowledgement, and even modern scientific theories creates a chillingly clear picture. From ancient scriptures identifying Lucifer and Beelzebub to real-world events defying rational explanation, these entities seem more than myth. Science, too, hints at unseen dimensions where such forces could exist, further blurring the line between the known and the unknown. Demons are not just shadows of superstition, but enduring realities that have shaped human history and culture, reminding us how fragile our understanding of the world truly is. If you found this exploration thought-provoking, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a deep dive into the mysteries of existence. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe demons are real? Stay curious, and until next time, watch the shadows.
Wanna play hide and clap?